Hello, church family. This is Don Hamlin, Associate Pastor of Education and Outreach at Kearney First Baptist Church, and I want to bring you a good word for today. We count a lot of stuff every day, not the least of which is the food in our cupboards, especially in these uncertain times. Personally, I count the gas in my gas tank, or at least I look at the gauge. I count the minutes on the microwave when I'm warming up my coffee. I mean, isn't that why we have microwaves? And on a personal note, my son counts the times he returns to the buffet line when we're out to eat. And speaking of that, my son Kyle says this: if you go to a buffet and only get one plate of food, you didn't go to a buffet, you only got one plate of food. I'm so proud of him. We count in church too. In fact, we not only count heads, but we record the names of those heads along with their addresses, birthdays, emails, phone numbers, membership status, and the like. In the last few days, these records have been vitally important to your church staff as we reach out to contact everyone listed in our directory. Now, some people say it's not necessary or that we should not make a big deal about counting, but I'm glad we have, and I'm glad as one of your pastors, I've been able to use those records to call many of you. The good Lord gave us some biblical precedents for accurately counting churchy things, and I want to remind you of what God said. Ezra is our man for this. In his chapter 8, we read a summary of the heads of the families who returned with him from captivity. With apparent painstaking effort, each leader's name was recorded along with the count of the men he led. Furthermore, after reviewing the count, Ezra noted that someone was missing. In chapter 8, verse 15, we read this: "Now I gathered them by the river that flows to Ahava, and we camped there for 3 days. And I looked among the people and the priests and found none of the sons of Levi there." Well, that's good enough reason for me to want to keep records of people in our church. We don't necessarily meet down by the river and camp out for 3 days, but we do meet in the worship center and in our Sunday school classes, and we camp out with the Holy Trinity. We might be ready to tell them who's missing and what's needed in the lives of families in our churches. As Ezra put it later on in his book, all of them were designated by name. So in these uncertain days when we think we're in captivity, that is sheltering in place and not getting out, we have the great benefit of using our church records, much like Ezra did, to connect with people and to talk with them and to pray for them. When this is all over and we're going to church after being in our captivity, we'll celebrate and worship, and I believe we'll celebrate and worship with even more people because we've taken the opportunity to reach out to many, many people in a way like we never could before. And while we've counted people in order to do this, let people know that they can count on you too.